everybody. Why don't we kick off with the fallout from Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally, where comedian Tony Hinchcliffe had this to say during his warm-up act.
It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
The public outrage to his racist jokes prompted a superstar trio nicknamed the Puerto Rican Avengers. We're talking about Bad Bunny, Ricky Martin, and J-Lo to endorse Kamala Harris as There you go. Well, Andrea, do you think that Tony's jokes are going to backfire for the Trump campaign?
You know what, I want to start on another note. It's the hypocrisy for me where the Republican Party is distancing themselves, saying these are not our values. And I want to remind the Republican Party of a date, June 16th, 2015. That is a day that Donald Trump came down the escalator and announced that he was running for president for the first time. And during that speech, he referred to Mexican Americans who had immigrated to that country as rapists and murderers. And I will never ever forget that moment, because I thought, first of all, I'd never seen someone getting into politics who was going to spew racist rhetoric during a press conference in front of cameras about a specific group, and I thought, his political career is over. Little did I know, almost 10 years later, and the number of things that this man has done, never mind January 6th, the insurrection where a police officer died, but all of the insults to every single group, women, people of color, immigrants, and the Republican Party has been what? Very quiet. No, don't get me wrong, there have been a few who have come out and said stuff like Ted Cruz and Nikki Haley and J.D. Vance, and what do? They turn around and then they go back and they support him. Yeah. So I think it is crazy. For the last almost 10 years, we've heard this man say all kinds of crazy things. But one comedian, who they invited, by the way, to speak at this, says some off-color jokes. I'm not defending this comedian.
No, but
now,
nothing should surprise us.
But now the Republicans are like, that's not our values. We want to distance ourselves. And it's like, where have you been for the last 9 years to distance yourself from the things this man has said? So I'm hot on that. I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, I agree. There's a number of columnists sort of saying, like, this is it. This is, like, the end of it. This is the last straw. That's the last straw.
Thank you.
And what we saw was just a snippet of a fascinating night where someone compared Kamala Harris to the Antichrist and the devil, where Hulk Hogan flexed and danced, where Dr. Phil gave a talk. Like, it was a circus. It has been a circus for the last 10 years. So the idea that this is the moment, like, oh, too far. It's like asking for pasta every night for dinner, and then 3 years in being like, you served me pasta?
Yeah.
You know, like, come on.
No surprises. Yeah. I think for me, I'm taking a whole different spin on this, and I actually was talking to my husband about it last night, because anybody who watched it who's got a brain, whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning, it was disgusting. And so we were shocked that this was happening. And then my husband said, oh, I know that comedian. I watch him. He does a lot of anti-Trump comedy.
Get out!
So then I went, what do you mean he does anti-Trump comedy? And one of his most viewed videos on his YouTube channel called Kill Tony was this whole spoof where he had two of his friends who are comedians play Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and he roasted both of them mercilessly. So I don't know that this is a pro-Trump guy. What I think is he absolutely just did the biggest, most disgusting, but perhaps effective comedy bit we have ever seen, offending a bunch of people in the process. You know, the Ali G, Sacha Baron Cohen kind of style. I think that they didn't vet this guy to come and be on the show, on the stage, because Donald Trump is so desperate for any celebrity to show up and endorse him, that this guy who's been on Joe Rogan's podcast a lot was probably like, oh, he's a comedian, he's pro-Trump, come on in. And I think what we just saw was him infiltrate and purposely blow up the Trump campaign, and mission accomplished, because now if you have a swing state like Florida, which is where the largest percentage of Puerto Ricans are living, if you have a swing state like Pennsylvania, guess what? They're all like, this is too far, and we're voting for Kamala.
I don't know. I mean, I hope you're right. But
I don't know.
I suspect that people who are in that room are diehard Trump supporters no matter what. And I think that the people who are watching that convention are still not undecided. So I don't think it matters. I think if anything, this guy maybe has just got himself a bunch of haters. But he was also very confusing. Even if he was kind of trolling or whatever, he never outright said that he himself was voting for Trump. But he did say things like, when I lay my head down at night, I know who I'm voting for. He then crapped all over Kamala Harris and what San Francisco has become since she lived in it. He also said that he did say this at the end. Just watch this.
I'm just here to say that you guys are for the right candidate. Tell your friends. Let's close it out. And let's make speech free again. Make America healthy again. God bless America. Let's make it great again.
So I think he is a big supporter of Trump. Like, even though if you're suggesting that maybe he's not, I think he is.
There's something thrilling about not knowing from watching that.
I know.
Like, is he trolling all of us?
I think he might be an anarchist. That's my conclusion.
Is that he threw a grenade in and just watched
He just
it
was
burn.
like pointing out both sides of like just the whole ridiculous. Anyway, I'm so sick of this conversation. That's all I know. I'm just
no,
so
it's
sick of
Cynthia's favorite. Cynthia loves this. It's her favorite thing to talk about. Well, you know, they have a couple days to get it straight, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.